Sleeping alone is a lot less terrifying.
Oh, I can feel it.
That's gross. I'm sorry.
I just would much rather have a nurse do this.
You would think by injecting 5 times a day for 26 years, I'm used to needles and injecting. Absolutely not.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I've done it. I'm not gonna lie, it didn't hurt. Oh, I'm part of the gang.
What's poppin'? Ooh. Hi, a new video. One that I'm so excited about. Oh wait, that's not how I start. Welcome to a new video. And if you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Jyoty, and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here. I'm so excited about today's video because most of you will know that I'm type 1 diabetic. I'm gonna try to keep this video short, by the way, but we'll see how that goes, because normally, you know, that's not really my vibe. But most of you will know, especially since a couple of months ago, that I'm a type 1 diabetic. I ended up doing quite a big fundraiser that was also a raffle, a prize-winning situation for Diabetes UK. And in order to promote that fundraiser, I ended up doing what was supposed to be just a story sharing, experience sharing video about why the cause for diabetes research is so close to my heart. Ended up being quite an emotional video, me ending up in tears, talking about how I think I'm gonna die one day, yada yada. But that, I feel like, was the first time where a lot of new people discovered that I'm a type 1 diabetic. Today's video, however, though, is about this little thing in my arm, and I've waited so long to get this. Oh my God. We're going to talk about my Freestyle Libre 2 and what it is and what it does and what it means. Because I'm a type 1 diabetic, which means my pancreas basically is a little bitch and won't work, I constantly have to monitor and regulate my blood sugar levels, which your body, if you're not diabetic, does by itself. So I constantly monitor my blood sugar levels by doing little finger prick injections with this little set here. Now there's many different brands, many different kits. Normally the process would be like so. You get a little testing strip. Okay, you would put that in this little meter, which everyone always used to think was my burner phone. Quite embarrassing. Every time I would put it out in public with people that I never met before, they'd be like, why do you have a burner phone? And you proceed by literally putting a little prick in your finger. It's tiny needle. I've already washed my hands right before I started filming. Normally you would clean your hands right before you do it. Oh, I've already pricked it. Shit, I should have showed you properly. But yeah, so normally you do a finger prick. Squeeze the blood out. It's not painful. Squeeze it onto the strip and get a reading. That's gross. I'm sorry. Then you, according to that reading, make a decision on what you're going to do. Are you going to inject insulin to lower your blood sugar, or is your blood sugar low and is it time to take in some sugar? Now, for the last 2 years or so, I would say, approximately 2 years, I've seen people out and about in restaurants, at parties, on a boat in Trinidad with this little, tiny little white thing on their arm. I then discovered that that is a little sensor called the Freestyle Libre. It's the size approximately of a 2-pound coin. That's what they say everywhere. There's a little sensor in your arm that is constantly measuring your blood sugar levels, and it kind of eliminates the process of having to get your kit out and finger prick to know what's going on. Why you would want to get one, for me, it was mainly because I've been so irregular for years. I've never actually been regulated, and it's gotten to a point where I was every day, especially in lockdown, which you wouldn't think, because in lockdown I've had more of a stable day-to-day life than ever before without any traveling or late night clubs and whatever, I actually got even more irregular blood sugar wise. And I was going constantly, multiple times a day, between hypos and hypers. And this has a huge knock-on effect on my physical well-being, on my emotional well-being, my mental well-being. And the idea of having such a little sensor on my arm for me was, as you get older, it's really not a big deal. When I was younger, having the pump, which is a completely different situation, really terrified me. And I also didn't want something there for people to ask what it is. When you have been diabetic for so long and you've accepted it, you really do not care, especially if it can really better your health and your life. So after having spoken to loads of people who have all told me how much this little sensor has improved their health and their well-being, I thought, cool, you know what? I have enough proof to show how irregular I am. Went to see a diabetes specialist. I actually asked for the pump and she said, no, well, there's one step before the pump. Let's see if we can get you a little bit more regular if we get you on the Freestyle sensor. And I received it yesterday. And I'm going to show you guys a little video of how I inserted it. Now, it took about 12 minutes because I panicked so much. I'm so uncomfortable with the idea of having to inject myself if it's not in my usual areas of my legs where I have been injecting for 26 years. Anywhere else, you would think by injecting 5 times a day for 26 years, I'm used to needles and injecting. Absolutely not. If it's not my leg, if it's not my thigh, I freak out and I can't do it. So I'm going to try to shorten that video, show you how I inserted the sensor, just in case that's something that frightens you. You can see that if I can do it, you can definitely do it as well. And then when we come back from that, I'm going to tell you exactly what it does. So let's get into me opening my Libre Freestyle 2.
So this is what's in it. I think this is the actual sensor. This is the sensor and this is the applicator. Select site. So they say that it's better to do it, obviously, the arm that you don't use the most. I'm left-handed, so I'm going to do my right arm. But also to have it on the inside, just because when it was new, people were doing it on the outside of the arm. But then it's more likely to like come off if you like walk into something or whatever. So apparently it's not painful when it does come out. But they say it's less likely to get caught in anything and to come out when it's on the inside of the arm. So I'm going to do that. Wash site using a plain soap, dry, and then clean with alcohol wipe. Allow site to air dry. But I don't have an alcohol wipe. I mean, I can wash it with soap in the bathroom. Peel lid completely off sensor pack. Unscrew cap from sensor applicator. So this is the sensor applicator. How do you unscrew the cap? Ooh. Like that. Ooh. Oh, yeah. This is what's in here. On a hard surface, press down firmly on sensor applicator until it comes to a stop. Is that?
No, I think you need to push on.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, is that the dark mark? It has to be. There's nothing else.
And so it does fit.
Okay, so that's it then. Let's put in. Lift sensor applicator out of sensor pack. I will say the lady that... Oh, you can see it. Oh my God, it is a little needle. I'm not going to touch it for hygiene reasons. But it's really hard. See, oh, do you see it there? That's the needle. That's the needle that will go into the arm. Oh, I don't... This makes me a little bit uncomfortable now. Place sensor applicator over site. Push down firmly to apply sensor. Big one. I'm not trying to have a nurse do this. Actually, wait.
Maybe you're ready to try again. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I've done it.
Now what? You just pull it away,
Okay.
and that stays in.
Okay, I've done it. But it doesn't. Oh, yeah. There it is. Yeah, that's it.
And it's in.
I'm not gonna lie, it didn't hurt. No, it wasn't like what I made it out to be in my head. Oh, I did put it a little bit to the side, but they say you can alternate, obviously, every 2 weeks. Try a different place, try a different arm. I've done it. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna show you how I now activate it. Oh, I did it.
Easy.
This is me now. Oh, I'm part of the gang.
So after having applicated it, which was yesterday around this time, so it's been almost 24 hours. Well, when you see this, it's been a couple of days, basically. By the time you see this, it's been a couple of days. And what it exactly does is, and why it makes your life so much easier is, whereas when you finger prick, it gives you the reading in that moment, at that moment, doesn't tell you what happened before or what might be happening after. So recognizing trends. Whereas with the sensor, it can read your blood sugars from up to 8 hours before. It is very important that you never leave it longer than 8 hours in between readings. So it's good to have a little alarm clock if you decide to sleep in. And if not, if you do sleep in and you've missed longer, so let's say 10 hours before your last reading, you have to just be aware that whatever you're seeing is not from the moment you checked it last, it's from the last 8 hours up until the current checking. And what it will tell you is basically not just what has been happening, but it can also tell you what to expect to happen. So every time you have a blood sugar reading, it can give you a little indication of whether your blood sugar is kind of steadily going up, slowly going up, very rapidly rising, slowly going down, or very rapidly dropping.
Okay, so now your sensor is ready to be used. So I'm going to do check glucose. And I think it should be a little bit high right now. Yeah, it is. Well, a little bit. 15.3, and it gives the arrow like that, which means it's not necessarily rising or dropping really rapidly, but it's kind of like that. And you can add a note. So I'm going to add a note saying I'm going to take some rapid action. You can add notes. So I'm going to say I'm going to take some rapid acting insulin.
The other brilliant thing, which I immediately got to experience and appreciate the first night of inserting the sensor, is you can set alarms. So because it works with an app, same night, I got to experience the incredible feature of setting alarms. So what you can do is, for example, as soon as I drop under 4.0, that's when my hypo starts kicking in to the point where I really feel it and it starts affecting me heavily. So what I've done now is I've set an alarm for my phone. As long as it's within 6 meters of reach with me, it will detect as soon as I'm hitting that set value of 4.0, and it will start beeping. I even had it during an interview I was doing earlier over FaceTime. It started beeping, and it was great because I was starting to feel a little bit woozy, but in that point I couldn't really tell if it was because I'd been on this phone for 2 hours and it was just a bit of too much screen time that whole day, or if it was actually my blood sugar. And as soon as that sensor started popping off, I was able to say, 1 second, just gonna get some juice, drank the juice, and it just stopped me from actually having to go so far into this hypo that I can't continue with what I'm doing. And then it becomes more of a reaction than a preemptive measure. And then you could do the same for high blood sugar. So for me, I've set it to, I think, 13.5 or 4. And what I've done is for the high one, at night, when I normally put my phone on Do Not Disturb, I have set it to a setting where if it's on Do Not Disturb, it will not beep. But with the low blood sugar one, I have set it to a setting where it will override Do Not Disturb. And that's exactly what happened last night. During my sleep, twice did my phone start beeping, and it was loud enough for me to wake up, get up, and yes, both times my blood sugar had dropped very low. The reason why I'm so excited about this is because I know how many times I have actually not been able to take action quick enough with my blood sugar because I wasn't in a position where I felt comfortable enough, or where I wasn't close enough to my kit to just very subtly see what's going on. And that could be during a DJ set. Like, you don't want to go into your bag and then get the kit out. Whereas all you have to do now is you can be mid-blend, put your phone against it. Literally all you do is tap the top of your iPhone against the sensor and it'll tell you what's going on. The same goes for the gym. The amount of times I've been in the gym and then I'm on the treadmill and I'm not sure if I'm getting dizzy and woozy because I've just running and I'm sweating loads and I'm doing the right thing and it's having a great effect on me. I'm burning loads of calories, or whether my blood sugar is dropping. So many great reactions. I posted it on Instagram, I posted it on Twitter. Lots of people saying that it saved their life. It's the greatest thing that's happened to them since any like diabetes research or technology has come their way. And I will also say that it is apparently quite common for it to come off because of getting caught up in something, clothing getting stuck, and it's not painful. Because I have to say, obviously the needle, when you apply the sensor, extracts itself. So it's not like that needle is constantly in you. So there's quite a little flimsy bit in there. And apparently when the sensor comes off, it just comes off and it's not painful. Think about it. You have to replace the sensor every 14 days. So I, at the moment, don't know what that process is like, but I can only imagine if you have to do it every 2 weeks, removing the sensor cannot be a painful process. It is stuck to my skin with a little adhesive bit, and certain people have had allergic reactions to that on their 4th or 5th sensor. So not immediately, and moving forward they couldn't use it anymore. So I'll keep people updated on that. Another interesting thing though, I think some people might be under the impression that because of the sensor they never have to finger prick again. This is not true, and I think this is something I have to discover for myself, is when to finger prick or not. Because the sensor isn't as deep into the skin as the blood that you kind of put on the strip after injecting yourself, you get a slight 3-minute delay, I believe it is, in between what your reading actually is in that moment or what it is about to be. So I guess what could happen every now and then is if you do feel like you have low blood sugar, you tap the sensor and it says it's 4.5. It's still very valid to, in that moment, check your blood sugar, because when you do your finger prick, it might say it's 4.1 or it's 4, and it's about to drop to a point where you would go into a hypo and start feeling uncomfortable. I'm excited to see where it goes. It's already shown me what my working day could look like without having to excuse myself or cause disruption, which nobody ever minds, like, let's be honest. But it's just making things already in 24 hours so much smoother. And another thing is as well, the fact that it woke me up in my sleep. I have never really thought about living on my own. I'd love to live by myself. I've never really considered living on my own because I'm so terrified of someone not being in the property when I have a seizure at night or a hypo at night and I'm screaming and shouting or whatever and they can't hear me. This thing makes me a little less terrified because it woke me up in a deep sleep. So if it can do that, then sleeping alone is a lot less terrifying. So yeah, that's my little video on what it does and what difference it can make. It's you can I showered with it, absolutely fine. Gym, absolutely fine. It says it's fine for swimming, so you know, hopefully I can get out of this shithole really quickly and I can let you guys know what it's like being in a sea or in a pool somewhere hot. But yeah, should be fine. It's also 30 degrees tomorrow, so I'll test what it does in the scorching heat as well. But I think with so many people having no problems over the last 2-3 years or however long they've been using it, I shall be completely fine. Let me know if you got any questions, any comments, anything. Leave it in the comments below. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, that's incredibly rude. You should definitely do that. And hit the like button. Thank you. Love you. Bye.